I've done countless DIY projects on Toyota trucks in this garage. I just like DIYing because it's so satisfying to see the fruits of your labor. Most of the time. So I know this is like very common sense sort of thing, but when you're lifting a vehicle in your garage, make sure you can clear the garage. Yeah, that happened, that was a thing. It's fine, that's what security deposits are for, right? Anyways, this is my 2024 Tacoma. I've owned it for just over a year now, and I know it may not look like it, but I've done quite a bit to it this past year. From the simple things like bed stiffeners and bolt-on gas hood struts to the bigger ticket items like rock sliders and that ECGS bushing. And believe it or not, fog lights. Oh, if you want to kill time and risk breaking plastic clips on a Saturday, try installing these fog lights on a Tacoma. Even the little things can make all the difference. In fact, I'm about to install something pretty small but useful right now. I don't know if it's just from a lot of recent washboard road driving, but I did start to notice that these bed caps, or whatever you want to call them, especially back here, have started to become very, very loose, and you can see the spacing is pretty uneven. This side is much worse than that side, but you can kind of see the problem is still there. This is the fix though. Oh, that's much better. That huge gap is gone too. And this business, Charvonia Designs, also sells these neat looking end cap replacements too. I think my happiness levels just went up tenfold with this one. But beyond how awesome it is to build out my truck with my own two hands, another big reason I do it is to save money. Or do you really? I actually took every single item that I've DIY'd installed on my Tacoma here in the garage in this last year, and I've calculated the estimated labor cost it would have been had I gone to a shop, and we're gonna go through all that today. But we're just going to calculate the things I did at home, not some of the things I took my truck into the shop for, like my rear bumper and new suspension system. I will gladly take my truck to get an install done if it makes more sense from a tool standpoint. As proud as I am for collecting a specific tool to get the job done, I'm still a big believer in outsourcing when you need to. So as I go through each item, I'll add up the estimated labor cost to see how much I saved in total this year from doing things at home. But I also kind of want to talk through whether some of these installs at home were even worth it. And if I were to do it all over again, would I do it differently? Alright, so there's a ton of things that I've bought for the truck that I consider small and DIY-able for anybody else that's buying them as well. Like, I think 99% of people aren't taking their truck to a shop for these things. Like my gas hood struts. Crazy that these don't come with the truck stickered at $54,000. Also my billet rail tie down so that ratchet straps fit more easily. My front tow hooks, which I actually just DIY'd myself. A black exhaust tip, and yes, I know this thing hangs super low, so I did do the axle dump exhaust mod in my last video, and my Miso Customs interior LED light. And if I press this button, we're back to very normal, very bright white light. I spent about 10 to 20 minutes at home with minimal tools to do all of these installs, so I'm not going to count them in my final savings amount. But okay, let's start out with an install that I did most recently that I could totally see other people getting a shop to do. Rock sliders. Definitely a necessity if you want a wheel. I ordered these from Cali Ray's LED, and this was the first time I had rock sliders shipped. And I was a little sketched out because here's the thing with shipping rock sliders. Not only do you have to have a place you can get them delivered to, and typically you have to be home to sign for them and everything, you also want to make sure you're ordering from a shop that packages them well enough that the powder coating doesn't chip. I've always gone the route of buying my own rock sliders locally, picking them up, and then just getting them powder coated myself. But I took the risk on this shipping route this time around, and I'm actually very impressed. These Cali Ray's LED sliders came nicely packaged and intact. So the install here actually surprised me as well. The last time I installed rock sliders on the 3rd gen Tacoma, it was such a struggle because they are heavy. They have to support the weight of the vehicle, so they mount to the frame, and Toyota didn't have threaded holes in their last generation Tacoma. So there were a ton of backing plates I had to fit on the back side of the frame in order to get these guys mounted. But Toyota did us right this time around because my new Tacoma has threaded holes in the frame, so the most difficult part about installing these sliders is just lining them up. But I used 2 jack stands with microfiber towels on them, of course, to prevent scratching, and I had a pretty easy time. It's 14 bolts, I believe. I also added a little Loctite, and honestly, that's it. No backing plates, no hassle. One of those rare times I underestimated an install. I will say for this and for many other installs, it's a good idea to have a torque wrench on hand. You definitely want to torque these down because again, they do serve an important role, so you don't want them to fail. Okay, so say I got this done at a shop, maybe it'd be an hour of labor. Now, if a shop had a labor rate of about $150, which I am just spitballing here because of course, every place is going to be different, I would say I saved about $150 by doing it myself. Not bad. And side benefit, I got a great workout in carrying these into the garage. But yeah, check these out. I got the low profile versions and they look great. Not to mention, they perform even better out on the trails. Okay, so now onto a fun one. This one is totally just for the aesthetics and form over function, but it is the Light Up Toyota badge. In a world of overdone Toyota heritage grills, no shame if you have one, here's a way you can spruce up your non-TRD Pro grill. And don't come at me for wanting to have a little bling bling on my truck. So believe it or not, this is actually an OEM accessory by Toyota, not an aftermarket part. And also believe it or not, Toyota gave it a great name. The Taco Badge Sombrero. Anyways, this one is also a relatively easy one to install, but there is a little bit of taking apart things in the engine bay to get it done. The good thing is that it's all plug and play, so no cutting or splicing of wires. Basically because this thing lights up with the daytime running lights, you just have to unplug this harness going into the passenger headlight, tee in the provided wiring harness in the kit, and plug that into the light up badge. The hardest part is quite literally pulling off the OEM Toyota badge, which takes quite a bit of force, and I totally got jump scared by mine. But when all is said and done, 30 minutes of work and you've got a unique light up badge on your grill. And I also just found out that Toyota offers this in dark chrome, so if you're looking for a more blacked out look, since when it's not on it's bright chrome, this might be the one to go with. Okay, so I mentioned 30 minutes to do, that's say $75 in shop labor, making our savings now total $225. Now let's move on to something that's also plug and play, but not quite as straightforward, unfortunately. Fog lights. Because to get to those harnesses, you have to take off this valance. But to take off the valance, you have to take off the whole front bumper and grille. But to take that off, you need to pop out the front clips of the fender flares. What a piece of work. I'm honestly just exhausted looking at all this footage again. And I remember how sore my fingers were from pulling apart all those plastic pieces. Now, in the end, I think this one was worth it because I ended up replacing the OEM fog lights with rigid SAE selective yellow fog lights. SAE means that they are street legal even though they are brighter. And if you're wondering why me and so many other Toyota people go with these yellow colored fog lights, there is a real performance advantage here. You see, this specific color has a longer wavelength than say a cooler color temperature. So when you're looking out, it actually cuts through particles like dust and fog without as much reflection back at your eye. And I went with Rigid, who is actually the manufacturer of the fog lights that come on the TRD Pro and Trail Hunter Tacomas. I actually have a whole video on this install if you want more details, but long story short, I spent a few hours on this, and I think a shop would spend about 2 hours, or I don't know, at least charge you 2 hours of labor for this. Again, these are all estimates, but 2 hours would be about $300 if we're going with that $150 shop rate, which might seem insane, but unlike the rock sliders, this one is really cumbersome to install on the 2024 Tacoma. Another rough one is the ECGS Bushing. Oh boy, this is another one I'm exhausted just thinking about too. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically after I installed the Icon suspension system on my Tacoma, which by the way I did at Icon shop, so I'm not going to count that here, I started getting vibrations. Now, these aren't specifically because of Icon's coilovers. I got the same vibration on my 2019 Tacoma when I installed my suspension system from Fox 2. But this vibration was all caused by one little bearing on the driver's side in the front differential. You see, when you lift the front end of these Tacomas, even just a minimal amount in my experience, the angle of the axle changes, which can put more stress on it and cause the vibrations that you can feel through the steering wheel and floor. So a lot of people like me will fix this by replacing the needle bearing with a clamshell bushing. What this bushing does is it has a tighter tolerance, and in my experience in both of my Tacomas, it has eliminated these front end vibrations I experienced. Now I know a lot of you who are actually mechanics might think that replacing one of these axles is relatively straightforward, which is essentially what you have to do here. Remove the axle, remove the bearing, press the bushing in, put the axle back. But when you're a graduate from the School of YouTube Mechanics, this might take you all day or 2 days. Honestly, I spent quite a bit of time on this one. And it wasn't just time, I also had trouble breaking the axle nut, so I bought a Milwaukee Fuel Impact. That was an expensive Home Depot run. And I also separately bought the removal tool and tool to press the new bushing in. But okay, just talking about labor. If you were to outsource this, which at this point, I've done this twice, I recommend to most people that don't have the space, tools, or time, just have a shop do it. I think it's not unreasonable for a shop to charge 2 to 3 hours. So let's just say about $400. That's actually how much somebody told me they got theirs done for somewhere here in San Diego. So that means by my own estimate, we're at about $925 in labor savings. But again, I did buy new tools and spent a lot of time on this one. Now the last item I've installed that I can remember is one that I think most people DIY, but surprisingly, I think a lot of people take their truck in for as well. That would be a dash cam install. Actually, when I was at Cape Toyota a few weeks back getting my ARB bumper installed and sensors calibrated, the tech was telling me he does like 1 dash cam install a day, which I guess makes sense. I mean, I'm a huge advocate for at least a front dash cam because people on the road be crazy and insurance companies tend to fight you unless you provide footage. Ask me how I know. So anyways, I installed the Dongar Pro Dashcam adapter, which was amazing because it powers my dashcam when I'm driving and also when I'm parked, but it will auto shut off after a certain amount of time or when my battery voltage reaches a certain level so that it doesn't fully drain it. It's a great peace of mind, and there is a little bit to this install, although I think it's easy for what you end up getting. It just needs power from behind the rear view mirror, which means teeing in the provided harness into one of the factory ones. But thankfully this is also all plug and play, and since power is provided near where I mounted my dash cam, there was no need to run wires through a headliner, which kept everything clean and easy. So the tech told me he charges a half an hour for an install like this, which means I theoretically saved about $75 installing a dash cam at home. Again, these are all estimates, so please take it with a grain of salt, but I'm just trying to calculate a rough idea of savings over 1 year of building my truck at home, which comes out to a grand total of $1,000. Estimated, of course. Now, the bulk of this comes from the ECGS bushing and the fog lights because of the nature of those installs, but you know what? If this number is somewhat reasonable, I'm pretty happy to be saving that amount. Although factoring in my time and cost of tools, I'm sure many of you would argue having a shop do this work might have been worth it. Again, I like DIY first and foremost because of the satisfaction it brings. It is nice seeing your work kind of start to come to life as you're driving your vehicle and experiencing it every single day. You know, I work a full-time job. I have a couple different truck builds going on. So for this truck, I've been taking things pretty slowly, but I am happy with how it's turning out so far. Although we're not even close to finishing. We're literally just partway through like this phase 2 of this truck build, and I've got a lot of big things, like physically big items that we are going to install on this truck soon. So I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to connect more with me, you can follow me on my Instagram. It is @ChloeKuoTaco. Otherwise, I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.